smoked salmon penne pasta. This recipe is creamy, it's delicious, and if you're not sure about salmon, this is where to start. This is delicious. Check it out, it's coming up on the Last Minute Cook. Hi, I'm Deborah Deanna. You're watching the Last Minute Cook, where I share delicious recipes that are quick so that you can make dinner at the last minute and feel good about what you're serving. If you're new here, consider subscribing and ring the little bell so you'll be notified of my episodes as they're posted. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, so feel free to reach out with any questions or comments you have for me. Okay, I have a smoked salmon penne pasta recipe. This pasta really only needs a couple of simple ingredients to turn it into a delicious meal. We have our smoked salmon, and it comes in you'll find these like in a box like this sometimes, and inside is a foil, vacuum sealed foil pack. And if you look, the expiration is usually like 5 years out. They last for a really long time, so they're great to keep on hand. So I like to buy them in bulk because you've always got them to pull for a last minute meal. So I'm gonna use these. This is probably about twice as big in the way it comes, and I'm only gonna use about a quarter here of our smoked salmon. We're gonna make a bechamel with some butter and some flour and a little bit of milk. And really that's about it. You're gonna watch this salmon just take on a whole new life of this meal with the way that the flavors work together. Let's prep our salmon. So my kids will turn their nose up if they see skin on fish. They will eat it if they don't see that. So I like to prep it and just get the little bit of skin off. You can of course leave it on. It's totally wonderful to do that. But with my kids, so it comes off very easily. Just scrape it right off. You don't need a lot of the smoked salmon. It has a very intense flavor. So you can just use a little bit of salmon and achieve a great pasta sauce with a little bit of it. So again, I'm only using about this much for this recipe. And we're going to get about a tablespoon of butter into our skillet. That should be warmed onto about a medium heat. I don't want the butter to burn, so I'm going to give it a little bit of oil, olive oil. So can we get the really yummy, rich flavor of the butter without burning it? It's about a tablespoon or two of olive oil. So then just turn your skillet around and get all that butter and oil incorporated. In the meantime, let's get our salmon I'm just gonna break it up a little bit on the plate and push it on into our skillet. So again, it's already cooked. We really just need to warm it up and flavor it. Okay, and you can help kind of break up. Again, it's pretty flaky, so it doesn't take much to break it up. Just kind of break up your salmon a little bit. Let's get our bechamel going. Let's see if this is warm enough yet. I think we're good. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. So just think equal parts when we're doing bechamel. However much your bechamel you're making, we're gonna start with equal parts of butter and flour. And, my little whisk, here we go. A little tiny whisk. So get our butter in there. That's the 2 tablespoons. And the milk we're going to use, you can pre-warm your milk. It will incorporate nice and smoothly into your melted butter and your flour mixture that we're about to make. If it's not pre-warmed, you'll just need to go very slowly in adding the milk into sections. Okay, as my butter is going, I'm gonna go ahead and get my 2 tablespoons of flour. And then you just need to briskly whisk this so that the flour and the butter don't burn and so that the flour won't clump. The butter is what keeps that flour from clumping. The consistency we're going for is we want a sauce, so we don't want it to be too thick. And if you go too heavy on the flour, it's gonna be really, really thick. Now, you can completely make your salmon pasta with a thicker base like that. If you want that, you're just gonna, up your flour and your butter amounts. But we're going for a thinner, kind of just a delicate cream sauce for the salmon. Stirring constantly Do not put your whisk down when you're making your bechamel. This is not a time to answer the phone and put the whisk down. If you're gonna answer the phone, keep stirring. And as it darkens in color, we'll be ready to add our milk in small increments. I've got 2 cups poured here. Probably won't use all of that. We'll go with about a cup first. Whisk briskly. It's about a cup, yeah. It takes a minute for that flour to thicken the milk, but it doesn't take too long. So whisk, whisk, whisk. Meanwhile, the salmon over here is doing just fine. It's really nice since it's already, we don't have to worry about cooking it. We just need to warm it up and get some of that butter flavor in there while we get our bechamel done. So this is just 2 steps. You can do them at the same time. And penne pasta. You could be having your pasta boiling on the stove. I've pre-made mine. But like many of my other skillet dishes, just pull that pasta off about a minute before the package instructions. Get it off that hot water quick and drained. And then coat a little bit of olive oil on your pasta so that it does not stick, and just set it aside. And I'm going to add a little bit more milk. So you can see it starting to thicken, but we don't want it really thick because we want a sauce. So I'm at, almost a cup. When we're warming up the salmon with the butter and the oil are taking the flavors of that smoked salmon. So it's all gonna mix together when we bring over our bechamel, which we're doing right now. Let's see. Okay, so if you can see, this consistency is kind of almost like yogurt. Does this look like yogurt? Let me show y'all. Just don't know, it's not too thick. It's not watery thin. It's almost like a fresh yogurt. Not Greek yogurt, like a fresh homemade yogurt, which, if you haven't seen my yogurt recipe for Instant Pot, jump over there. I have a great how to make yogurt in your Instant Pot. Okay, give this a little final stir. Oh, and by the way, if you like this video, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. I love to see those thumbs up. Okay. Now let's get our bechamel, turn off the heat on our little skillet there. Get this poured in. There we go. Okay. And then quickly stir this all together. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. Just go ahead and mix that all up so that the bechamel takes on all those delicious flavors of the salmon. If you've not really worked with salmon or you're not real comfortable with it, this is a great starter recipe. And if you do love salmon, then this is a great recipe to dive into because the flavors are so good all working together. Okay, then we're just going to turn the heat down a little bit so it doesn't thicken and make some space for our pasta very quickly, because if you don't move this part quickly, you're going to thicken up your bechamel, which our goal is kind of a thinner consistency here. And let this all mix together for about 30 seconds to a minute, which is why we cook the pasta about a minute less than what the package calls for, because we don't want it to become mushy. We want a good texture for our pasta. By the way, if you do like salmon, make sure you check out my salmon patties. There's a skillet dish for you with salmon. That's a great go-to. And this is also the spot in our recipe where we want to add our delicious capers. Okay. Capers. You guys, okay, capers are great to keep on hand. They go on so many delicious dishes, and salmon is one of them that the salmon loves the capers, you guys. The salmon loves the capers, so give the salmon the capers. Okay, and mix that up. I wish y'all could taste this right now. I cannot wait for you to make this. So we're gonna plate it. I'll do it a little quicker this way. You can add some more salt or pepper if you like that to your taste. And you can see how creamy this sauce is. Look how pretty. It's not too heavy. That's what I like about this. It's just not too heavy. And the way the sauce works together with the pasta and the salmon is just not overwhelming. It's just a nice balance of flavor. Then a little bit of Parmesan cheese right on top. And it's ready to be served, just like that. Look. Let's give it a try. So again, just move kind of quickly once you get the pasta once you're ready for the pasta into your skillet so that your sauce doesn't thicken up too much. But if it does thicken up, you can always add a little bit more liquid. Turn up the heat, add a little bit more liquid to thin it back out. So if you're moving a little slow or you're unsure, your steps are a little unsure, you can always fix it. Let's give this a try. The perfect consistency, and the penne pasta is a great pasta choice for this smoked salmon pasta sauce. It's a hearty pasta and it works really well with the salmon and the cream. Yum. And of course the capers, don't forget the capers, and the Parmesan. Oh, look, it's only just a few ingredients, so grab them, make this. I would love to hear from you. If you do have a chance to make it, let me know down in the comments below. A link to my website is there for the printable recipe card and other recipes like this, lastminutecook.com. If you have not subscribed, do that so you can join me for my future episodes on quick, easy recipes like this one. Thank you so much for watching. Buon appetito.